This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight now, we bring you an exclusive talk with Chief Electoral Officer, West Bengal, Dr. AARIZ AFTAB, on preparation for assembly elections in the state.
Elections in West Bengal will be conducted in 8 phases from 27th March to 29th April. In an exclusive talk with AIR News in Kolkata on Wednesday, the Chief Electoral Officer of West Bengal, Dr. AARIZ AFTAB, has said that this time the Election Commission of India is conducting the assembly elections in a challenging time under the shadows of COVID-19 pandemic. He underlined the importance of disseminating the information to the masses regarding the protocols the ECI has enjoined so that the perception gets clear and voters are assured to exercise their democratic rights.
This election also, which is being held in West Bengal, is under the shadows of COVID, and this is a challenge for all of us. And I think that it is important that these protocols which the Election Commission has enjoined should be disseminated to the masses so that a perception is clear as to how it's going to be held. Coming to the brief, I think the Election Commission of India was created on January 25th, 1950, which we now celebrate as the National Voters' Day. And since then, the Election Commission all over the world is considered as a paragon and epitome as far as elections are concerned worldwide. And the chair of international election management bodies is also with the Election Commission of India. So under very difficult conditions, like in Bihar, where the COVID situation was very much at its peak, the Commission did conduct the elections. And these elections are also important because a number of COVID protocols have to be maintained, and the dissemination of these protocols is a responsibility of all of us.
He said the total number of electors as per the final electoral list is 7,32,94,980 for 294 assembly constituencies. The CEO mentioned that keeping in mind the COVID situation, this time the ECI has restricted the number of electors in a polling station to 1,000, and due to this, the number of new polling booths has been increased by 23,013. The total number of polling stations in the state is 1,01,916.
This election in West Bengal Legislative Assembly, 294 assembly constituencies are there in West Bengal, and the number of electors as per the final list which was published on January 15 is 7,32,94,980. Certain things the Election Commission, I think it should be in your knowledge because you will be covering, is that it restricted the number of electors in a polling station which was brought down to 1,000. Because of this, the number of polling stations have increased. 23,013 new polling stations have been created, and total number of polling stations is 1,01,916 as far as the state is concerned. So most of them are located in the same polling premise, and additional rooms have been taken up so that the voters are not inconvenienced much. So that has been the thing.
He said that all polling personnel will be provided with masks, face shields, sanitizers and gloves, while voters will be provided with gloves for one hand, which will be used for signing and pressing the button of EVM and to be disposed of in a waste bin. The ECI also made available vaccination for all polling personnel, and the process is being closely monitored.
All polling personnel who are there, they are being provided with masks, face shields, hand gloves and sanitizers, and the polling station is being sanitized. That is number one point. And the electors who will be going to vote, they will be provided with gloves of only one hand because the other hand indelible ink has to be applied. So one hand gloves will be given, and with these gloves they are supposed to sign and also to press the button of the EVM. So that is the protocol, and once they come out, we are making arrangements for bins which will be there, and in those waste bins they will be depositing their hand gloves, and there is we have tied up all these bins will be transported to it has been mapped with the nearest hospital where there are facilities for biomedical waste management, and there will be incineration. So this is something I think which we have to tell the public at large that the safety protocols as far as COVID is concerned is being maintained. The Election Commission also recently has made available the vaccination for all polling personnel, and they are also going for vaccination. So that is another step which the ECI has taken, so that the people, all the polling personnel, all the order says that all employees and officials who are involved with election will be vaccinated. So that process is also going on. We are very closely monitoring it so that it can be effectively completed, and that part is also being done.
Mr. Aftab also mentioned that postal ballots have been arranged for 3 types of voters: above 80 years, ABSC, disabled, and COVID-infected or suspected electors, ABCO. 11.57 lakh people are ABSC in the state. 12D forms will be distributed to these categories, and the process has been going on. A team of 2 polling personnel, 1 micro-observer, videographer, and adequate security personnel will be going to the residence of the absentee voters and get the voting done.
Absentee voters postal ballot. This has been introduced by the Election Commission for the support of old people, persons with disabilities, and those who have been recently COVID infected or suspected. So there are 3 categories of people who are entitled to postal balloting, and these include people who are 80 plus, that we call as AVSC, absentee voters senior categories. In our electoral roll, which was finally published, it was around 11.57 lakh people in the whole state are AVSC. As far as AVPD is concerned, these are postal balloting. That is at their home. This process would be done. That is for those who are having benchmark disability certificate and who are flagged in the electoral roll. And the third category is AVCO, which is absentee voters for COVID infected or suspected, hospitalized, institutional quarantine, home quarantine, or for them that is on the basis of a certificate which is to be issued by the competent health authorities. And these are the 3 categories. Actually, you can say it is in 2 stages. The first stage is from the date of announcement, we have been distributing 12D forms. So these are the forms which are being distributed to all the persons who are in these categories, that is AVSC, AVPD, AVCO, senior citizens above 80 years of age, persons with disabilities, and also COVID infected or suspected. So that process has already started, and this for each phase of election till 5 days of the date of notification, that is on the first day of nomination when it starts, till 5 days from there it is being collected. And this process already we have started. In the first phase, I think around 32,000 odd people have applied for postal ballots, and in the second phase around 30,000 have applied. Now this process, once the electoral roll is frozen, that is on the last date of nomination, and after that the ballot paper printing etc. takes place. So after that a team will be going to the houses of the people who are in these 3 categories. This team will comprise of 2 polling personnel. One of them would be of the seniority of polling officer, and there is also a micro observer who will be tagged with the team. Adequate security will be there, videographer will be there, and they will be going to the residences of each of these people, and there this voting will take place. Technically what is there is the form 13A is there. This is a declaration which the individual signs that I am the person, and this has to be kept. This declaration is there, and then the ballot, actual ballot, postal ballot will be given. He can either tick or he can cross it, and then he puts it in an envelope, and this envelope and the declaration are put in an envelope, bigger envelope, that is 13C, and it is collected back, and all these postal ballots will be collected, and then the counting would take place. So this is the basic new things which have been introduced by the Election Commission as far as this is concerned.
Mr. Aftab said that to ensure free and fair election, the ECI has appointed observers, and 3 categories of observers will be in the districts: general, police, and expenditure observers. 4 special observers have been appointed for the state, including 2 police observers. He mentioned regular meetings are being done to monitor expenditure-related things. International observation is also being done by telecasting live the election process.
From the days of its inception, new things have been, as new dimensions have emerged, new things have been coming up. For example, the observers. This started from general observers, then the police observers were added. Now the expenditure observers are also there. So there are 3 categories of observers who will be there in every district. I think in this particular election we are having around, in West Bengal, 209 general observers, 55 police observers, and around 85 odd expenditure observers. So these observers are there in the district. Normally, general observers are assigned for each assembly constituency, in some places 2 assembly constituencies. Police observers are normally there, I think, in every district, around 3 or so would be there. 2 to 3 are there. And expenditure observers, generally the scale is 2 to 5 expenditure observers are there. So this is one thing. Apart from that, international observation is also being done for these elections. I think one assembly constituency and polling station will be telecast live internationally all over the world, so that the people can see how the actual voting process is being taking place. So this is also one of the dimensions as far as the Election Commission is concerned, because they want the international community also to see how elections are being conducted in India. So this will also be done in this particular election.
As electoral roll plays a very important part, the ECI has arranged e-Epic for new voters. Mr. Aftab said that voters who were newly enrolled in the summary revision of 2021 can download their e-Epic by providing their mobile numbers and use the card for casting their votes.
There are 2 aspects as far as any election is concerned. One aspect would be the voter registration, because countries across the world, they are spending more than 50% of their election funds for voter registration, because ultimately the efficacy of an election is based on how good your electoral roll is. So that is the first dimension, and for that there is a number of things like online is a very common. The electors can register online now in VSP voter portal. There are several facilities which have been done that you can either give it offline also. Online facilities are there which are becoming more and more popular. So by mail, by internet. Now, the basic important thing is that the Commission also has an EPIC card, that is the voter's card, and now what has started is e-EPIC. Just on the lines of Aadhaar card, this e-EPIC is there, like you can download your Aadhaar and you can use it. So this e-EPIC has already been started for the electors who were newly enrolled in the summary revision of 2021 and who have given their mobile numbers. They can download their EPIC cards, and this is as good an identity proof as the normal card. So this has started, and ultimately the Commission is also trying to give e-EPICs to all the voters. It has not yet started for the earlier voters because it is being worked out, but this is also one of the plans that all the voters will be able to download their EPIC cards also, which is as good as normal EPIC cards, and you can vote. So the voter registration is the basic fundamental thing. As I said, one aspect of it is how good your electoral roll is, and that is why this process is going on. We have several stages, like some of the countries have civil registries, like they take their voter lists from some government databases. For example, in Sweden, it is taken from the tax collectors. Many other countries take it from their home department, but right from the beginning, India, our election commission, it is saying that it should be an independent body. It should not be the government, and for that the election commission is there, and there is a continuous updation also all around the year. You can enroll yourself in a specific period which is known as summary revision at that time also. So rather than going for a civil registry which many countries do follow, where they take the voter list from some home department data or some tax data, it is not there in our particular case. So in India we have a separate body which does that, and the basic idea behind is that the voter list should be independent. So that is one of the focus, and photo electoral rolls are there in India. So your photograph is also there. So that is an additional check as far as that is concerned. So if one looks at the electoral roll which is being done in India, so by the Election Commission of India, that has several features to ensure that it is transparent, and that people after that also they can very easily get themselves changed. So now we have an ERONet system. ERONet is that all over the country we have one system where, for example, if a person is shifting from Kolkata to Mumbai or Delhi to Kolkata, so the deletion request goes there automatically, and there it is deleted, and here his name can come. So all these facilities have been developed.
The broadcasting time has been doubled for the political parties so that they can explain their policies, manifesto and plans.
I think the issue of broadcasting time is also one of the things. So this is an aspect which one should link to the public funding of elections. So increasingly there is a thought to that, and this is what has been touched upon, that political parties are given airtime and they can explain their policies and whatever they are standing for, their manifestos, etc., and they can come forward with what they are planning to do. So that is a part of public funding, and that has also been started so that parties can do that.
Regarding the complaint monitoring system, Mr. Aftab said that a new app, e-Vigil, has been developed by the ECI, and within 100 minutes the complaint is being disposed of.
The Election Commission is also disqualifying candidates, and these are candidates who do not give their election expenditure accounts, they are being disqualified, and some others disqualified for certain things which are not allowed as far as our elections are concerned. So at every stage there are things. There is a complaint monitoring system also, because all of you will be working in the field. It is important to know there is a system called a new app developed by the Election Commission, which is known as c-Vigil. In c-Vigil, any citizen can upload either a photograph or a 2-minute video of any deviation of the model code. So he can do it anonymously also, or he can do it with his mobile number, etc. If he does it with his mobile number, then he gets an information that what action has been taken. And within 100 minutes, this is to be disposed. So for this we have a network of flying squads, FSTs are there, SSTs are there, static surveillance teams are there. So these are working all around. So any citizen, if he uploads any photograph, somebody is distributing money or liquor or any deviation of model code, so that immediately he can upload it and that can come. Apart from that, we have NGS, also National Grievance Services Portal, where complaints can be given. 1950 is also there.
He mentioned that vulnerability mapping is being done by the ECI.
Vulnerability mapping is being done by the Election Commission. There is a manual on vulnerability mapping and trouble mongers. There in the past elections, if some incident has happened, also there are critical polling stations. Critical are basically polling stations where in the last election 75% voting has taken place and more than 90% of the votes have gone to one political party. So these are identified as critical polling stations. Special measures. Vulnerable hamlets are mapped. There is a possibility or apprehension of any disturbance, and vulnerable trouble mongers are also mapped, and regularly this process is being done so that their influence in the election can be monitored.
You were listening to an exclusive talk with Chief Electoral Officer, West Bengal, Dr. AARIZ Aftab, on preparation for assembly elections in the state. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our website, newsonair.com. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.